Welcome to the Jen Cares Powered by Chosen Live podcast, a podcast that brings the community to you. Each week, we feature a guest that will help us stay in the know. We are here every Monday at 8 p.m. on Facebook and YouTube. Be sure to like, comment, and share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Now, here's your host, Jen Cares.
Well, good evening, chosen friends, and welcome to Jen Cares, powered by Chosen Counselors. I am your host, Jen Cares, and the founder of Chosen Counselors, a nonprofit organization that seeks to inspire, motivate, empower, and strengthen individuals and families. As always, I want to say thank you to each and every one of you for tuning in on this evening. I'm just excited to be able to host this podcast and to host you guys. I really do appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in week after week. I want to say special thanks to our guests from last month. We closed out our May series, Help a Sister Out, with Dr. Chandra Williams for our Head Start. That was a phenomenal episode. Then we had our July series, which was No Apologies, where we were growing and going with Christian Mills and Michelle Snow. And I do hope that you enjoyed those segments. It was so good. So tonight is August, August 1st, actually, right? Today's the 1st of August. And our theme for this month is I'm an author. And I have connected with some amazing authors who have written some amazing books. And tonight, we're going to do a cancellation, but guess what? The show still must go on. So it's going to be 5 minutes with Jen. That's how Jen Cares actually was about to start in the beginning. So it's just going to be 5 minutes and we're going to be out. Now I may do more than 5 minutes. We'll see what happens because we're just winging it. And guess what? Sometimes you have to improvise. So again, thank you all so much for joining us. Tonight's theme was supposed to be Survive, Thrive, and Boss Up. And that was from author Shante Proctor, who wrote a book about how to survive, thrive, and boss up after a bad relationship or after a relationship, I believe was the title. So tonight we're going to do a little bit talking about that, but also just talking about writing books and things. And like, what is your dream? What is it that you inspire to do? But as always, over here at Jen Cares, we start with a quote of the day. And today's quote of the day is, "Don't settle for a relationship that won't let you be yourself." Oprah Winfrey. Again, don't settle for a relationship that won't let you be yourself. Now, friends, down in the comments, I need your participation on tonight, okay, friends? What are your thoughts on that quote? When I think of that, sometimes we get into some friendships, some job ships, relationships span so many other things other than what comes to mind at first, like husband and wife or boyfriend and girlfriend. Relationships in general. If you can't be yourself, is that a good relationship to be in, friends? And sometimes, if we're honest, we get into those situations where we feel like, no, but this is the best. But guess what? What if I said it was better for you? You don't have to settle. If that's not what you want, if that's not what you like, then guess what, friends? You do not have to be in it. Oh, I want to say good evening. Thank you so much for joining us, Belinda. Hey, girl. Hey, Todd. Todd was a guest a little while ago when we had the fellas guy talk and things of that sort. He now has a podcast with Carlo, who was also a guest. So y'all be sure to check out his podcast. Todd, put it down in the comments for us so that we can know. Great quote, right? We do not want to settle in relationships. Hey, Mama Wanda, how you doing? Hey, Jeannie, how you doing? Good to see you all. Thank you so much virtually. I do appreciate you all for tuning in. So again, our quote of the day was talking about not settling for a relationship that won't let you be yourself. This weekend, I was honored to go to I don't want to say the name wrong, but I was honored to go to a church and speak to some young people. And we talked about embracing your scoop. And tonight I'm going to shed a little light on that and the importance of, relationships and things of that sort. Because sometimes we get into a situation and we feel like we can't be ourselves. I'm thinking about this and it's funny because I've recently had some conversations with people where they're not allowing me to be myself, but I'm embracing them and all them flaws and alls and isms and things of that sort. And that's not fair because that's not a 100%, 50-50, 100-100, whatever quotations or percentages you put on relationships, that's not a valid relationship. So we want to make sure that we are not settling for less. So in that, we were talking about embracing our scoop, and it was just so amazing to hear the young children share about what they liked about themselves, what they didn't like about themselves, what they wanted to improve about themselves. And it was amazing hearing from babies, because out of the mouth of babes, and they were saying how they like their dimples, they don't really like, the structure of this, or how this looks, or how this comes off. And guess what? I had to share with them, even at a younger age, when you get older, it's the same. Sometimes we still don't like stuff as we get older. We still don't like how this moves. We still don't like how that goes. But guess what? We learn how to adjust. And embracing the scoop, we're learning to love on ourselves just a little bit more. We also talked about the importance of how embracing yourself can cause you to step out and do something different. And, it was young people, and it was a church service. So we was talking about some people in the Bible about that, right? So like how Noah had to build an ark, and it seems so odd to do. Like, who builds this ship this big? He's like, it's going to rain. It was like, whatever. We ain't never seen that before. And sometimes, friends, we have ideas, and somebody's like, that's not going to work. Maybe you shouldn't do that. You sure that's something you want to do? But if you feel in your all in all that this is something that you want to explore, something that you want to do, something that you at least want to try, because what's the harm in trying? If it doesn't work, you could say, at least, hey, I tried it out, right? So we want to just encourage you tonight that whatever it is that you want to do, you can do it. Again, the theme of this month is I'm an author. So writing a book, it's like a lot of people wrote a book, but you have a story to tell too. And I just want to encourage us this month that whatever it is that you want to do, it is important. It is needed. And you'd be surprised how your story can inspire somebody else, whether it is a true story or a fiction story made up. A lot of movies come out and they're not supposedly like made off of true things all the time, but you learn something from it. It's inspiring from it. And again, whatever it is that you write, whatever it is that you share, it is needed. And I just want to encourage us all to just pursue our dream of whatever it is. With that being said, I said I was going to put out a book this year. I'm still putting it out. I am. I put it out here. I'm telling y'all, so y'all hold me accountable, okay, friends? And it's coming out in October. And what it is a planner and a journal. Why? Because we need to make sure that we're writing some things out and planning. Because we'll say we'll do something and then we'll forget. Because our memory can only hold but so much, or all the factors of what it is that we want to do. So we want to be able to write those things out. Okay, we want to plan how we want the year to go, and we want to start early. So again, it's coming out in October, so you'll be able to purchase it and support the cause, because all proceeds benefit chosen counselors. It's not about me being rich; it's about me trying to help somebody else, and that's what it is. Okay, so in that part, we're planning how we want our days to go. And then reflecting on our days. How did this day go? Could it have been better? When I wanted to be petty, I stopped. That's a good thing. But when I wanted to really let them have it, I walked away. That's a good thing. And we want to be able to track that progress, because it shows our maturity of how we're being a better person than we were the day before, how we are helping somebody else better than we were the day before. And that's hard sometimes, but we want to be able to track that. So in the planner portion of the journal, you'll be able to write those notes. And then we have the journal part. Why? Because it's good to just write some things down, because we don't want to forget. We want to be able to see our progress, how we have achieved some goals, how we have made some things that we thought was impossible possible. Because we have the power to do it. So that's going to be amazing. Yes, the book is coming. It is called Chosen for This, Planner and Journal. Why? Because you were chosen for this. Whatever it is that you feel that you are led to do, whatever you feel is your purpose, you were chosen to do that. And friends, I want to encourage us to do just that. Okay? So the planner journal was coming. But friends, do I have any authors in our audience tonight? What are some things that you wrote about? What are some things you thought about writing? So I also did a workshop a while ago, and it was talking about write the book. And I always love this scene from The 5 Heartbeats, when they're in a room and he's cleaning up. Duck is cleaning up, and his sister's cleaning up. We're saying how they need to be cleaning up, and he's writing words, and it's not working. And he'll take the paper and he'll take it, he'll throw it, and he'll like, duh, that didn't work. He'll write something else. Oh, it didn't work. And he threw it, right? But then when his sister looked like, wait, all you gotta do is put this with this. Those things that you wrote, that you threw away, pick that back up it has something in there that is of worth. And that was the prime example of how writing a book is. You get discouraged, you're like, maybe that won't work. Put it on a back burner. You never know when you can pull it back in. And when I'm talking with people like, how can you write books? Because I work with a publishing group. I've helped publish over 50 books. It has been a rewarding experience. And they're like, well, where do I start? In your notes, taking an extra notepad, or on your phone, there's some an app with notes. So you want to write those things down as the ideas come to you, what you want your book to be about, what you want the reader to walk away with your book, okay? So you want to write those things down, and as you compile all those components, you continue to compile, and then you put it in order of how you want that story to go. Why? Again, we can't remember everything, even if you're writing about your life. It's some things you don't remember, so you want to write it down. So again, get a notepad, get the note app on your telephone, and just begin to write those pieces down if you want to write a book, okay? And as you write those pieces down, eventually you bring them together and organize them how you want it to be. And it's funny because when we were in school, we did the Roman numerals and outlines and things of that sort. Guess what? It's needed when you're writing a book, because you say, okay, this chapter is going to be the beginning. Whatever happened in the beginning, you're putting all your notes with that part. Then the next part says the next. I'm making up these titles, obviously. But in the next is what you want to talk about that happened after the beginning. Then you got the middle. You want to write in what happened in the middle, okay? And you put all the pieces that you want there. And then you have the ending. Maybe it's something in the middle of the ending, whatever like that. You work it out. But what I'm saying is you have those titles and those outlines to help you formulate how you want your book to be. Another key in writing a book is having somebody read it. Because you know what you were trying to say when you wrote it, but we want to make sure that the reader understands what you were writing, okay? And I do encourage that you get an editor. I know sometimes you feel like, I read it a gazillion times. I know it's good. I've read some books and they're not always good, if I'm honest. And it's just, again, important to just get somebody else's eyes to help make sure that your investments in you in putting this book out is not in vain. Even in the planner journal, I have my amazing board. They're like reviewing over it. I need to get it to them, so we can have it out by my deadline. But I have somebody else looking at it because I know what it is I wanted to say, but I want to make sure that you're all hearing it too. And sometimes we get so excited, we're saying something or we're sharing something, and it's not received well. Have you ever been in a conversation like that? You're saying all these things, and they're like, not understanding what it is you're saying. Or you're trying to say I love you, but you're just going all around the mulberry bush and not getting there. We want to make sure that it's clear and to the point of what it is you're trying to share with the person that's going to read your book. Okay, so we talked about if you want to write a book, writing down the different sections, pulling it together, organizing it good, having somebody else read it for editing. But then you want to have somebody else read it for timing. Like, is this good to release right now? Because sometimes a book, it's not time yet to release it. Or it is time to release it, and you want to get it out as soon as you can. Okay? So you want to have somebody read it to know, yes, this was really good, is what I needed. Because somebody reading it for editing purposes might not always get the goal of what you wanted. So then you want to have a Q&A with them. What part was the best part for you? Was this beneficial in you reading it? Did it help you? Did it encourage you? What did you walk away with? And if you have somebody that can read your book and they walk away with something, you hit the mark. I've read some books and I didn't walk away with something. They didn't meet the mark. You want to make sure that your book is doing what it was established to do. Why? Because we're not trying to waste no money. It costs money to publish a book. Okay, friends? So again, write the book, organize your different pieces, pull it together, have somebody read it to edit it, have somebody read it for content to make sure that what you wanted this book to do, it's doing. And then guess what? You go ahead and publish that thing and get it out there. Someone will read it. It could go further than you even imagine. I've worked with some authors and they've shipped books to Texas, to the Carolinas, to New York, to Jersey, the surrounding areas, to Florida. Your book will travel. And guess what? Word of mouth makes it travel even more. As people read it, they say, oh, you need to read this. Or they say, you know what? I got the perfect gift for you. Why? Because that book turns into a gift that keeps on giving. And that lets you know that you did something that was amazing. You put your stamp on the world. And that's leaving your legacy too in writing a book. So friends, if you want to write a book, I encourage you to, if you have any questions, be sure to reach out to me. That's one of the many hats I wear in helping authors create books and publish books and get them out there. I've also done some contract work with some other publishing groups doing editing, and it has really been rewarding to help others get their dream out there. Again, you might feel like, but somebody else wrote a book about this. Somebody else wrote a book about that. Doesn't mean that you can't write your book. Why? Because your story is different. I always use the analogy of in a grocery store. When you go to the grocery store and you go to the bread aisle, it's so many different versions. I particularly like wheat bread, okay? So when I go, I don't like the honey wheat. That's not my cup of tea. If it's yours, enjoy. But I like the wheat bread. But there's so many different options of which wheat I could get. And I found the one that I like best, okay? Or that works best for me. But that's through trial and error. So one book we thought was a good book and it wasn't really good, didn't do what I needed to do. I found another book, it may work. So again, there's different types of books. There's different books on the same topics, but guess what? They're still good books. I've read a gazillion and one books about love and relationships, not just because I'm a marriage and family therapist, but I enjoy learning more about love and relationships if I'm going to talk about love and relationships. I enjoy listening to other stories. Why? Because I don't have to always fall to learn the lesson. Let me learn somebody else's lesson. And your book allows that. Your story allows that because you're sharing how you got through, how you made it through that beginning, the next part, the middle, and got to the end. And guess what? You can even write another one because you're continuing to learn even after the end. So again, if you want to write a book, I encourage you to. It is an amazing process. I've learned so much from authors that I've encountered of their belief and faith process in it. I'll never forget, we had Lady Hannah as a guest, and her book was Don't Give Up. And it was inspirational nuggets of different circumstances, life situations, and how you don't want to give up. You want to be encouraged in those situations. And when I read it, I was like, oh my gosh, this is good. And I was able to encourage her, like, I was just reading it to be reading it because you asked me to, or it was edited. I don't know, but the editing switched off where it was encouragement to me. That's how your book is, because it's your story to share, and this story is important. You matter, okay, friends. So if you want to write a book, ask me about the process. I tell you all about it. That's just a couple snippets. Again, embrace your scoop. Embrace who you are. You were created to be this amazing person. Guess what, friends? You can do it. Look at me. Jen Cares 2 years in, and we're still pushing. Curveballs come, we get back up and keep on trying. Why? Because we want to be able to encourage somebody else. So y'all stay tuned because that book will be coming out in October. It's going to be good. I'm not going to hold you guys long because y'all be rocking with me. Sometimes we be here longer than an hour. I'm going to give y'all some time back. I'm going to give me some time back because I probably need some rest. So again, don't forget our quote of the day. Our quote of the day is, don't settle for a relationship that won't let you be yourself. Friends, be sure not to settle for anything that is not bringing you joy, anything that is not bringing you peace. We talked about how time, we can't get it back. Peace, that is a valuable thing, to have peace, to be able to just like breathe and relax. That is something that some don't have. So don't settle for anything. Know your worth, friends. You are worth more. Okay. I was talking to a friend before I got on, and we were talking about relationships. I'm not going to say their name. I don't want them to think that I'm putting them on the spot. I am. But we were talking about relationships, and we were saying how the person who was trying to talk had some different things that wasn't quite what she was looking for. If that's not what you're looking for, don't waste your time. Don't waste their time. Okay, friends? If going for a job, if that's not what you're looking for, don't waste your time. Don't waste their time. Don't settle, friends. You are worth more. If it's something that you want, believe it can happen. We were talking about how like it could be like totally odd to get all of the things that's on your wish list. Odd, but not impossible, friends. Odd, but not impossible. So, friends, do not settle. If you desire something more, my God owns mansions in the sky. So, if it's something that I want, He can make it happen, okay? And He's going to give you just what it is that will help you be the best version of you. So, friends, don't settle. Don't settle. Don't settle. I just keep hearing don't settle. That part of the quote is the one we need to walk away with. Don't settle. Okay. Sometimes you're going for a car and it's like, well, this is what I could afford. I want you to get what you can afford, but don't get something that's going to mess you up later down the line. Okay. I was talking to somebody, they wanted to go into business and do something. I said, yeah, that's nice, but you're going to buy something, make sure it's an investment and it's not going to take more money out of you than what you're putting out for it. We can't settle. Okay. I understand wanting to, grow and do some new things, but don't settle. Okay. All right. We can go and buy some, but if it got holes in it, it's not going to help us be what we want to be. Don't settle. Don't settle. This is good. Okay, come on. I agree, but your wish list is not always good for you. Now, friends, this right here is a whole part too. And that part of not settling, make sure again, I talk to Jesus. Make sure that lines up with what his will is for your life, okay? Because there's some things that we do want that's not what he wants for us. And sometimes it's not the timing. One of my songs that's been encouraging me is He is preparing me for things I can't handle right now. And it stinks because you feel like you're ready, but sometimes we're not ready for it. We can't handle it. We don't have the capacity to really embrace it and hold on to it. It's like as a child when we were 5 or as we were 18 and things of that sort, we wanted a car, but then we had the capacity to manage that car, to pay for oil changes, to pay for if something went broke, to pay for gas. And gas was cheaper then for some of us, depending on your age. All right. But then we have the capacity to manage it. And sometimes we don't have the capacity to manage something. So then we're settling because we feel like we just need to have something. Friends, Tyler Perry wrote a play. I could do better by myself. Friends, get your things together in order, things that sort to not settle. Because yes, your wish list may not always be good. But I talked to some kids, the kids of the week too, about discernment. And discernment, I tell them how if something feels good, go ahead and do it. But if it feels off, if it feels uncomfortable, don't do it. Because that's what discernment is. I said, if you're hanging out with some friends and it feels all right, go ahead. But if at any moment it feels uncomfortable, it feels unsafe, you want to leave that situation and you want to go get an adult, get a parent to get some support and help. And friends, even as adults, if it feels good, stay on in it. But if there's a moment where it doesn't feel right, reevaluate before you get yourself in a situation you can't get yourself out of, okay? Because that settlement can mess us up. Yes. You know what they're saying. God knows best. That side emoji was all I needed because that's what I be feeling sometimes. He know best. He know best. But can I be honest? He just be taking a long time sometimes. That preparing me part takes a long time sometimes. And I be like, well, daggone it. But guess what? Even though in my honesty of that moment of me being frustrated that it may take too long, it may not look how I thought I wanted it to look and things of that sort, because he knows what's best, it's going to be best for me. And because I trust him, I'm all right. As I read something that said, I trust the pilot. That's why I could fly. Whoo. I could fly because I trust the pilot. He's going to take good care of us. We just got to trust and believe that what he knows what he's doing. He knows what's best for us. So friends, don't settle. And whatever relationship, person, place, or thing, whatever those nouns get us in trouble, don't settle, friends. Please consult some wise counsel before getting into some situations that we can't get ourselves out of. Also, be sure not to move out of feelings. I was talking to someone, and she was like, well, I don't want to do this no more. And I talked to a couple people that have said this to me recently. So if you're one of them and you're listening, you're not the only one. I talked to a lot of people. And I was saying, make sure that the move that we're making is a conscious move that's good for our future. Because sometimes we'll make an impulse decision that'll mess us up. So friends, be clear-minded when we're making decisions, okay? I love you all for real. Chosen for This is coming soon. It's going to be amazing, a planner and journal. Yes, I am going to toot that horn because I want you all to support. It's going to be a great book. I've done some activities in there for you to do, different things for you to write out, your plans, your goals for the year, and then a mid-year check-in of those plans and goals, because there's no point in us writing plans and goals and we don't achieve those plans goals. You know what? Actually, it is a point because it helps to remind us, because life happens and sometimes we forget or we get off track and things of that sort. But I want us to be reminded of the plans that we have for ourselves. And we also want to align those plans up with the will of God. I'm always going to line them up with the will of God, okay? So yep, toot toot, beep beep, because I'm excited. This is my first book. And again, I've helped, I got emotional right there because I've helped so many people write a book. And when somebody was like, you need to write a book, I was like, mind your business. And here I am now writing a planner journal. And this is actually easier because it's not really my business, but it is my business of what I'm sharing. So I'm really, really excited for this. And I do hope that you all do. It's going to be a virtual release in October. And I do hope that you all do support this effort. And again, it really is just to help us to continue to go live each week and provide the services that we do to the community. I did share that we're having a meetup. I am really, really excited for that. I'm sending out an email to the group that have signed up for it. The meetup is a time for purpose-driven minded people to come together to be encouraged and strengthened and whatever it is that they're doing. I talked to a lot of friends and they're like, I don't think I could do this anymore. Or I feel like I'm supposed to be doing this, but I'm just tired. I don't have the energy. How do you have energy? I don't know how I have the energy. One of my friends, actually a board member, she was like, you probably need some more rest. You're probably right. But it's so much that I want to do, and I'm so grateful to have the moment to be able to do it. And I promise that I do also engage in self-care to take the moments as I need. But I am also overwhelmingly grateful with the love that I receive from you all and checking in and tuning in and sharing that you do watch. And I do appreciate each and every one of you. So that's all I have for you tonight. I did not know I was going to be on here that long. But I do love each and every one of you. Again, I thank you for your support. I was talking to a friend today as well, and she was saying, I haven't been on. I feel bad. I said, nope, don't feel bad. One, I don't know who really tunes in unless you do a comment. Two, I don't expect anybody to tune in. All I can do is do what's on my heart to do and believe that God will bless it because he put it on my heart to do it. And you encourage me so much as you continue to check in. I gotta go. I love y'all. Join us next week as we will have Francina Lattimore for Accidentally Born on Purpose. Now, friends, when I learned about her book, the title alone, Accidentally Born on Purpose. How many of you was accidentally born on purpose? I was talking to somebody and we was like, oh, that was a mistake. I was like, wait, a mistake? The baby was born? They was like, no, the picture was a mistake. I was like, oh, okay. But accidentally born on purpose. Sometimes it is an accident. Oh, I'm pregnant. You wasn't really expecting it, but it was a purpose behind it. Not so much for the child and the purpose that child has, but for you, the maturity that you got in having that baby, the wisdom you learned in having that baby, the tests that you went through and survived having that baby. And I was talking to someone today who's going back and forth about their job, wanting to go to something else. She was like, I feel like I'm having labor pains. And she's like, I'm not pregnant, obviously, but it's something in me that I want to do. And that purpose that you have sometimes is accidentally born, but it has a purpose. Like it was accidentally born for me to do Jen Cares, a live podcast. Why? Because I just wanted to be able to continue to share resources with the community. I wanted to highlight the importance of mental health because it's so neglected, but it was accidentally born with a purpose to be able to help somebody else. So we all have some purposes. We all have purpose rather, and we were born for that purpose. And sometimes it seems by accident, but guess what? It was on purpose. So y'all be sure to tune in. Rashida said, yes, absolutely. I know I did, especially having my baby girl. See, you grow up. You learn some new things, what you like, what you don't like, what you want to do differently with the next one, how you want to let some stuff go with the next one. They had the memes of when you had the first child, you're all protective. You got to make sure everything is right. The second kid comes, be like, they'll survive. And that's the process. But guess what, friends? You were accidentally born on purpose, or you have a purpose. It sometimes accidentally comes about, but guess what? It is still of value. It is still needed. And we need you to do whatever it is. Why? Because you were chosen for this. So stay tuned. Come on back next week. It's going to be amazing for our Accidentally Born on Purpose. Stay tuned because in October, we're going to release our planner and journal chosen for this. Stay tuned because the meetup will be meeting this August. There is still time if you want to be a part. We're going to be going out the end of this month. We're going to a restaurant. We're going to get all nice dressed and everything because we're going to have a good time, just to, fellowship, to get encouragement from one another and have a good time because that's what it's about. And sometimes when you're on your grind of doing things, you forget to take a moment to kind of just relax, relate, release. And that's what we're going to do at this event. Relax, relate, and release. We're going to relax a little bit because we don't have to be on. There's nobody that we got to perform for. We're just saying, look, it was a rough day. this client wore me out, or I don't know how I'm going to do this, things that but we're going to relax in it because that's natural, right? And then we're going to relate. We're going to find out that somebody else has the same story you saying. I know what you mean, but this is what I did and this is what helped. And then we're going to release any fears, any doubts, any worries. Why? Because we're going to hold each other accountable because we were chosen for this, friends. I'm running with that to the end of the year. I went to an event and I had my buttons. I had some buttons chosen for this. And she said, I like that, chosen for this. I said, yes, because whatever it is you were purposed to do, you were chosen to do it. She said, that's nice. I said, you know what? Here, take this button so you don't forget you were chosen for this. And again, that's what I'm trying to tell everybody. You're chosen for this. We want you to relax, relate, release. We want you to come to the meetup and all the amazing things we have coming up. I do love you all for real. I do thank you all for tuning in for these brief moments of time to just check in on some things. I appreciate each and every one of you. Remember, you're chosen for this. The journal is coming out in October. Join us next week. Until next time, I love you all for real. Wait a minute. I didn't do my I love you. I love you all for real. That's I love you in sign language. Me and my mama used to always do it. So no, I love you all for real. Till next time.
Friends, we thank you for joining Jen Cares this week. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Unable to watch us live? Be sure to find us on your favorite podcast platform. You can also visit our website, chosencounselors.com. That's chosen with a Z, so that you can stay in the know and most of all, never miss a show. If you found value in this episode, we'd appreciate you sharing it with a friend. Most of all, be sure to tune in for our next episode next Monday at 8 p.m. right here as we specialize in bringing the community to you.